if we weren't to continue to learn consistently, I feel like we wouldn't be at the place that we are right now, or we would be out of business because we really wouldn't know necessarily what to do or what direction to take the business.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Driven. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing why and how we are always learning. Now, I know since I could remember, we have been either watching YouTube videos or we've been hearing audiobooks from and to work. And I know I started early on, right after high school. I know you would send me videos here and there.
Yeah.
And so on your end, how did that start when it comes to maybe just looking at videos, expanding your knowledge?
I think in general, like learning and learning and like things that interest me though.
Okay.
I don't learn in things that are not of interest to me. Luckily, the things that I am interested in, have been helpful in life. But it's learning is something that I've always kind of enjoyed per se. Money, business, and then just physics and whatnot. But and then and because politics is so important, it's very out there.
Yep.
Learning about politics too. So I think it's something that it's innate, but at least in me, to wanting to learn. And even if it isn't in someone, I think it's very important to just force yourself, because we force ourselves to do things that we don't like.
Yep.
But I think it's something that I guess it's just I happen to like, and so it seems to be fruitful.
Yeah, because on my end, especially my experience with school, I hated just being in that classroom. So for me, it was more of having that same feeling of still being in school. So just overall, towards the beginning, during high school and a little bit after high school, I didn't really care much for learning. I knew it was important, especially because I wanted to open up a gym or maybe do something in the nutrition field. Be a nutritionist, dietitian. And so I knew it was important, but so it was very hard for myself to go out and actually seek that information. Even though a topic or a subject was interesting, it was very hard for me to actually go ahead and do it because I still had the the school mindset of fuck school, But I know you started sending me videos here and there, and they were actually interesting. And then little by little, the more videos you send me, the more my mindset started expanding.
It's super important to learn, continue learning. Because one of the things that I would go so far as to say is that if we wouldn't have continued to learn, continue to watch videos, I think right now we wouldn't be in business.
Nope.
Because when in late 2022, when our business was kind of starting to started to go down, it's because of the constant reading, constant YouTube videos, and all these things as to how we learned focus. We watched a lot of videos of that, and so we learned focus, we learned working on the product, on the customer. We learned a lot of things, even though we knew that it was kind of important, but we learned of the importance of it, and that's what kind of helped us pretty much until now. So the business was going down, but then it just started going back up because of the constant learning that we were doing, the YouTube videos, the books that we read. And so I will go so far as to say if we weren't continue to learn, we would be probably out of business. Maybe not out of business, but we definitely wouldn't be at the stage that we are right now. We wouldn't have the 11 employees that are currently working with us. And we would probably be in a different situation if we didn't continue learning, because continue learning allowed us to see some of the things that was happening in our business that was a problem, and it allowed us to fix it. And so that's why it's super important, at least in my opinion, as to why it is continued. And also it's very important to learn things that are actually useful and true, even though that might be hard to kind of know what it is. But it's also important to learn the right things, because I think you could learn the wrong things. And I think I don't have any specific things of the wrong things that we learned, but I know that there's the quote unquote the wrong things out there.
Yeah, and then with that, just to add on, I think not just the right thing and the wrong thing, learning to differentiate that, but then also getting the right information for yourself where you're at. Because if you're looking at information or taking advice from a multi-billionaire, multi-millionaire telling you to buy this company, that company, you're going to look at yourself and I'm not at that stage. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to start a business. So definitely yes, look at the right thing, but then also like an information that you could apply right here and right now, not maybe like 5 years, 10 years once you have a business. So that's one thing I do want to add. It's seek the information that you're able to apply, you're able to do. Another thing I want to add is also being able to apply, because I know it's happened to me. I hear it a lot too, so I don't know if how many other people experience it, but then also not just getting the information, not just learning it, but applying it. Because I remember a long time ago I wanted to start playing the piano. And so I would just watch videos of how to how the keys went, how the notes should sound, but I didn't have a piano. So it's like I could watch like 10 hours of how to work with the piano, but since I didn't have a piano in front of me, like once I actually start, I'm gonna forget it. And so, but like if you're actually like practicing in the piano, you're actually there on the keyboard, you're gonna get used to it. So it's a lot easier. And same thing with business, same thing in sports.
I know when we first started working, I know we used to read a lot of books, a lot of things, but we never applied it. And so I think that's why in our first venture, we really didn't go nowhere, because I think we knew what to do. We learned about, what it is that is required to be successful, but I think we just never applied it. And so I think with that, it's not just about learning, because I feel like we did, at least learn the basics. But it's just, we didn't actually go ahead and apply it. And that's why, towards the beginning we weren't successful, and not that we are now by any means, but I think that's what really kind of limited us to where we went. And so just that it's not just about learning, it's actually like implementing and taking action on it.
Based on your opinion, or just anything, do you think people could cultivate a learning mindset when it comes to I actually like learning, or is there a way for them to start getting into?
I think it's just about learning something that you like, and something that will actually help you reach some of the things that you want to do. So for example, for us, it was about business. We it just happened to be we like money and business, and so it just because we kind of already had that innate liking towards it, as to why learning it wasn't such a bad experience. For example, so I think learning something that you're already interested in, and I'm pretty sure if you take that step, there's some way to either make money or to start a business around it. Like soccer, let's say you really like soccer and you're learning about soccer, maybe the business of soccer, when it comes to either jerseys, whatever it is. I don't know exactly what it could be, but or for example, working at starting to work at a club, or different things, and as you learn about that industry, and the that industry, and you actually start moving towards that industry, opportunities are just gonna pop open. Because the businesses that we started, it's not because we thought of to do those businesses. It's because as we went through life, we got different jobs here and there. Is that what led us to that route? And so I think as long as you start learning about something that you're interested in, or at least that's what we did, and start immersing yourself in that, whatever it is that you like and are learning about, just opportunities are gonna just come your way. That's what happened to us. And so yeah, just taking the step of what are your interests, learning about them, becoming really good at them, whatever they may be, and then just going into that industry or job or whatever it is, and opportunities are just gonna come.
And in my experience, I think you're gonna end up liking it, because I'm talking for myself. I ended up liking it because the more I learned, the more I actually started doing it, the better I got. And the better you get, it's a lot easier. And so it's now you're competing with people who have been doing it. And then you really like what's something that you're good at. And so the more you learn about it, the more you do, the better you get, and the more you're gonna end up liking it. That's what happened to us. I wasn't necessarily into cars. I remember.
I wasn't fuck. I got a Prius.
Both of us.
We both got a Prius, and I didn't really care for cars at all. But now the more that we went, we started a business in that particular industry, and we started doing, and then we started doing really good, and then we're probably in our small niche, we started doing better than a lot of companies, and so we really got into it. The more I started liking it, the more I started liking cars, and we talk about cars more, and so it doesn't, and with that also, you don't have to be necessarily like, into it, but then, the more you do, the more you learn, the better you get, the more you'll start enjoying it at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, just to summarize it is the importance of continuous learning is our example. If we weren't to continue to learn consistently, I feel like we wouldn't be at the place that we are right now, or we would be out of business.
Yep.
Because we really wouldn't know necessarily what to do or what direction to take the business. And so that's how I think that's why it's so important, because just look at our example. And then also learning. Just if you hate quote unquote learning, just learn about things that interest you.
Yep.
And then somehow, some way, it'll lead to something that opportunities will open up. But you also have to be keep an eye out for them. And then another thing that you mentioned, even if you start learning something or you work at a place that you don't necessarily like, but you start learning about it, the more you learn, the more you do, the better you get, the more you like it. And
one final thing I want to add is there's different ways to learn something. Because I remember early on I didn't like reading books. But it's a lot easier to hear someone read to you, so we got audiobooks.
Audible.
If you don't like watching videos, sitting there, maybe talk to someone.
Yep.
It's a lot easier talking to someone than watching a video sitting there.
Yep.
Granted, right now I'm reading books out loud just to help me with my speech and whatnot. But there's always substitutions for ways to learn different things.
So with that, I hope that this topic of today kind of showed the importance of continuous learning and just learning overall. And if you have any questions, thoughts, comments, please make sure to leave them down below. And so with that, this has been another episode of Driven with Juan.
And my name is Alexis.
And we'll see you on the next one.